I actually worked in the medical field for 6 years. During high school, I still was always into fashion. I couldn't wait for the school parties. I needed to, get fly. Back in the day, that's what we would call it. It wasn't until I got into my adulthood, honestly, that I was like, okay, I don't really want to make everyone else happy. Like, my mother was like, oh, I'm so happy you finished this. And I was just like, I like it, but I don't love it. So the passion wasn't there. So honestly, it wasn't until I became an adult where I can be like, no, nobody wants to tell their mom no. When I got to that point where I could be like, all right, Ma, I don't really want to do this no more. It was kind of like, all right, let me do what it is that I really love. My name is Shaniqua Jordan. I am from Brooklyn, and I am a stylist / fashion blogger. My personal style is kind of like bipolar. I have like two, like one morning I can wake up and feel like Beyonce, and then there's other mornings where I'm like, nah, I don't feel like being a diva today. So I think that kind of comes into play because with people who are familiar with my social media, there are days that I'm like super glammed up, and then there are days like today, like I want to throw a hat on to the back. I might change my hair. I love wigs. That's like a part of my style. So one day my hair may be orange, one day it may be white, like today. So I think my style is kind of like bipolar. I chose the image architect just because, like, for me, I feel like I'm a curator of images. Like, a lot of people who call themselves stylists, I don't think they really understand what it means to really be a stylist. I feel like they work with people and they kind of make them look like mini-me's of themselves. So, for instance, you can have a person who has style and they'll dress you how they would dress themselves. But for me, I want to build you your own image. I want you to have your own identity in a sense. Me always loving fashion, me being from Brooklyn, most Brooklynites was still like stuck on just regular Timberlands or Jordans or something like that. So I loved being in Harlem. Like, I felt like I fit in. I was like, yeah, this is where I need to be. But just seeing their different styles of fashion, me kind of like getting a taste of my home in Brooklyn and having that extraness, I guess that kind of like helped mold me into who I am today.
She uses very impactful colors, the way she still kind of gives a background of presenting where she's from. She's shooting in her surroundings, but still making it look very beautiful and effortless. We both kind of got to read about each other at the same time. Someone did a blog post on her and we shared the same space, and I got to find out that she was in nursing, and she got to find out my plethora of background history in corporate and working for Sean Combs and Beyonce and a lot of people in a sales capacity, and I think she was like really humble about even what she was doing. She's like, I came from nursing, like this whole fashion thing is kind of new to me, and so me being in fashion for such a long time, she felt like there were business things that maybe she could learn from me. I think her style is like super unique to herself. It's not, I mean, anyone can wear all over Gucci or all over Louis, but it takes real style and real fashion to kind of put it together in a way that people didn't necessarily think about it in the first place.
I always looked up to other people in the fashion industry, like whether it be like a June Ambrose or just reading up on other people. And it was kind of like, that's like a real job, but how can I make it happen for me? So when it started for me, when I started out on Instagram, and I was still working my 9 to 5, and I was just taking pictures. Like, my friends were like, yo, like, let's just take pictures. So I went, invested in a little camera, got my first Canon camera. I was so excited. I felt like the photographer of the year. And that's how it started out. It started out as just a hobby, just showing what I like to do on the weekends. We come to the city, we go different places, take pictures. I have them on their knees, catching crazy angles, standing on top of people's cars, and it just, my influence, I started to notice my influence on other people. And then I started to say, maybe I really have something here, and that's how it started. Social media, I feel like sometimes can paint this picture that anyone who's in, whether it be a music business, fashion business, they're living this glamorous life, there are no hardships, they wake up in the morning and everything's all up. No, there's definitely a struggle. For me, my struggle came when I decided to not work a 9 to 5 anymore and pursue it full time. I went broke. Like, I struggle like other people. There are gonna be times where you're not gonna be able to buy things that you wanna buy, and you have to pay bills, and certain bills are not being paid because you're not working. But ultimately, that's the biggest misconception, that everything is all good, and it's not. It's a constant struggle. You're constantly learning, you're constantly trying to build, and it doesn't happen overnight.
My first initial thoughts, honestly, was, oh, well, you need a job, you need a pension. You know, because I come from a family of city workers, state workers, pension. That's all I knew, because that's how I grew up. I've always supported her in everything she wanted to do, but I just felt like, okay, you need a job. The first time I noticed her being very different from everyone else was her 8th grade prom. She didn't want to wear a dress with shoes. She wore a leopard print pair of pants, which were fuchsia pink and black, with a black sequins top and a cowgirl hat. I always knew that she liked fashion because, like I said, early on she was showing, potential in wanting to wear different things. And when she was in high school, she came home and she was like, "Mom, I want this Vance and leather jacket. It's like $900. So I was like, $900? I said, so if you can save half the money, then I'll give you the rest. When I saw that she made an effort to save half, a portion of the money, then I gave her the remaining for the $900 jacket. So I was like, wow. Myself, I didn't know what Vanson was, never heard of it. Shaniqua as a student was always an A+ student. Shaniqua growing up, very fun kid, very outgoing. As an adult, well, overall, she hasn't been a bad kid. I've been blessed in that field. As a parent, we always want our kids to do what we think is best. But sometimes as a parent, we gotta realize that giving them support and standing by them to make their decisions is better for them. Because ain't nothing worse than making someone do something or be someplace that they don't want to be or they don't want to do.
SimplicityXstyle.com is my personal blog that I started in December of 2015, so it hasn't even been a year yet. And that was just basically a platform that I wanted to create to display my personal style. I do plan to put more of my work up, but I wanted to start out with myself because I'm branding myself as well. I would get emails and direct messages all day long like, why do you not have a blog? I want to know where I can get this, because it was never in my mind to have a personal blog. It was like I wanted to stay behind the scenes and work with everyone else. So when I realized that I can brand myself, it was like, okay, let's see how this works. And it just happens to like blow up out of nowhere. My collaboration with Tawana, with the Tosha handbags came along. She reached out to me, she wanted to do a giveaway for my blog subscribers. So I figure if I'm gonna give away something, let's try it out, let's see if I like it, and I did. She's also a Brooklynite like myself, so I'm always down for helping anyone get the exposure that they need. If I can use my platform to help someone else, I have no problem. So we decided to meet up, we had lunch. She's like amazing, and it just worked.
Starting my own brand kind of came up as an accident, I guess, if I can call it that. I've always loved design, but I never thought about being a designer. I would just start making stuff for myself. I made a lot of stuff for me to wear. I wore it all the time. And when I started having people approach me about the things that I had on, it's actually, the first thing I ever sold to somebody, because I was walking down the street, Fulton Street in Brooklyn, and a girl approached me. I was doing some distressed denim skirts. I was wearing that, and she approached me. She loved it. She was like, can I make her one? What establishes my line different from other brands right now, I think a lot of it has to do with the handcraftedness of it. I do a hand stitching that I do on every bag, and somebody can look at a bag and say, oh, that's definitely a Tusha bag. My last collection, the Botani collection, where I covered balls with leather and denim. Anybody sees this bag, they know that it's my design, also because of the stitching that goes around it. Like I said, it's very important for me to have that hand stitch quality into every single bag that I do. So when when a customer looks at a bag, they're like, oh, that's definitely, you're wearing a Tusha handbag. It definitely puts me aside from everyone else. I posted a bag, one of my denim emoji bags from my Bhutan collection, my Naomi DeMay denim emoji bag. I posted it on Instagram, and she posted under it, I gotta have this. I believe that's what she said. And I was really thrown back. I was like, wow, like I looked at her as she was such a fashion icon. She was like this really fly girl no matter what she had on, whether it was, you know, sneakers or denim or a couture piece, she always knew how to put it together and made it look completely different than anybody else would do. So I was really happy that she wanted to reach out and wear one of my bags.
I'm grateful, I'm appreciative for anyone who reposts me, for every write-up that they write, for all of the articles on Fashion Bomb Daily that was about me. And I mean, I didn't really know how to respond to it at first. It was kind of like, me, I'm just a Brooklyn girl, I'm just trying to do my thing. And it's kind of like, no, you got more than that going, but we see you. So it was definitely a good feeling to know that, you know, they see me working and they see where I'm trying to go and they recognize that. I am planning on venturing over into the apparel side of the business. I don't want to give away too much, but that's coming soon, the top of 2017. So basically for the rest of the year, I'm just really still focusing on building my brand and working and building my clientele. But 2017, I got some good stuff coming.